So how much cash on hand do you need to have before you get started investing? Well, we have this thing called the 1-3-6 method. So first, you save up 1 month of expenses. Then you move on to high interest debt, just like we talked about in number 1, and make sure you get that paid off. And then you move on to 3 months of expenses. 3 months of expenses is going to ensure that you are protected against life, where then you can get started investing. Okay. So at 3 months of expenses, you're saying to yourself, well, how do I figure out what that is? You figure out how much you spend every single month. So let's say you spend $5,000 per month. Well, if you spend $5,000 per month, 5,000 times 3 is $15,000 is what needs to be in your emergency fund. Okay. So you have that $15,000 set aside. And once that's set aside, then you can start investing. Now, one big question that we get a lot from people is, well, how much of this extra money do I begin investing with? Well, I'd like to start with the 50-50 rule, where you think of this as I'm going to save 50% towards my emergency fund, and I am going to invest 50% towards my financial future. If you feel pretty comfortable with your 3 months emergency fund and you want to slowly build it up to 6 months, you can absolutely do that. But when you do that, just know that the ultimate goal is that we want to get to a 6-month emergency fund, especially in 2026. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. All of you who are worried about AI taking your job, you must, and I mean must, have a 6-month emergency fund. It is imperative that you have a 6-month emergency fund because it is going to be detrimental to you and your finances if you lose a job and it takes you some time to go find that job. So you want to have a 6-month runway to make sure that you have enough cash on hand. Now, one big thing that we talk about with your emergency fund is something called the SWAN number. It's your sleep well at night number. And your SWAN number is going to be something that is different for every single person. So some people may feel more comfortable having a 9-month emergency fund. Some people may feel more comfortable having a 12-month emergency fund. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever helps you sleep well at night, that is going to end up being your long-term target. But it takes us some time to get there, and we don't want to lose out on valuable years of investing and valuable years of compound interest just because we want to shove cash into this account. So this is why when you get to 3 months, I want you to start investing. I really want you to get to 3 months as fast as you possibly can. If you can get rid of that high interest debt and get to 3 months in your emergency fund, take extra jobs if you have to. Drive for Uber Eats, but you got to figure out a way to get there as fast as possible because this is the only way to build wealth. And any one of you can do this if you really want it enough. But this is the only way to build wealth is to get your dollars going. All right. Step 3 is next, we need to figure out, okay, now we can get started investing. We have our 3-month emergency fund at least set up in a high yield savings account. Now we need to think through, well, what do I need to do next? Well, you need to open up your accounts. And so when it comes to your accounts, there's a number of different ones that are out there that you've probably heard of. The first place that I want you to look is your employer's 401k. And a lot of times your employer offers something called a 401k match. Now, if you're in a different industry, you could have a 457 or a 403b. These are all one and the same in terms of how they operate. But when we look at a 401k, we want to say, okay, if my employer offers a match, then I want to make sure I capture that match. Why? Because it is free money. Here's the way that it works. Your employer says, hey, if you put 3% into your 401k, we'll match it. And we'll also put 3% into your 401k. Well, that is absolutely incredible. Let's say every paycheck you put in $150, which is 3%, and then your employer puts in $150 every paycheck. That is literally like getting a $150 bonus for free every single time you get paid. I like free money. Do you like free money? Because that is the number one thing that you need to go out and get first. You cannot get a 100% rate of return or a 50% rate of return anywhere out there right now. And so we want to make sure that we are first getting our 401k match because it's free money. Number 2 is if you have a high deductible health plan, I want you to look into an HSA. What is an HSA? It stands for Health Savings Account. Well, Andrew, why are you telling me about a health savings account when I'm trying to invest for my retirement? Because the health savings account is a super retirement account. And this is a secret a lot of people don't know, but the health savings account has triple tax advantages. So listen to how this works. Money goes in tax-free. It grows tax-free, and you can pull the money out tax-free as long as you have a qualified medical expense. What's a qualified medical expense? There is now a laundry list of what you can use for your HSA. I was just on the Peloton website the other day and saw you can use your HSA to buy a Peloton. I was on the 8 Sleep website the other day, which is a mattress cooling pad, and it says you can buy a mattress cooling pad with your HSA. Amazon has this cool section now that you can go to for HSA eligible items, and you'd be amazed at how many people fall under that category and how many things fall under that category. You just save your receipts, make sure you have them in a Google Drive somewhere, store those receipts in that spot. And if you keep track of this, you can start to pull money out early, even if you retire early. This is the power of having an HSA where you're not going to have to pay taxes on those dollars. And then if you don't use all the money in the HSA, by the time you turn age 65, it basically turns into a traditional IRA if you want to use it that way. But guess what? By the time you turn age 65, you're going to have a lot of healthcare expenses popping up. The average amount that people spend in healthcare for a couple is $300,000 throughout their entire retirement. You're going to use this money. And so the HSA is just a powerful way, A, to help you bridge if you reach early retirement. But secondly, it is going to help you take care of healthcare expenses when you need it most. So the HSA is such a powerful account because you can use it for retirement, but you can also use it for healthcare expenses, and you can save that triple tax advantage, okay? Number 3, a lot of you need to listen up on this one. This is a very important account that most people should be looking at opening if you don't already have one open. This is called a Roth IRA. Now, the Roth IRA is an account that you can put $7,500 per year into the Roth IRA. Now, if you have a Roth 401k at your job, this can be used interchangeably. In the Roth 401k, you can get $24,500 per year in that Roth 401k. This, my friends, is a super powerful account because money goes in that's already been taxed. It's already been taxed on your paycheck, but you can put money in this account, and it can grow tax-free, and you can pull the money out tax-free. So you pay taxes now so that you don't have to worry about taxes ever again in your lifetime on those dollars. And you can invest those dollars. And the cool part about this is the long-term growth is going to be the majority inside of this account. And so you can make a tremendous dent on your retirement and pay $0 in taxes. I know people who have millions and millions of dollars in their Roth IRA, and they paid $0 in taxes on multi-millions of dollars. There is nowhere else that you can do that. And this is why these accounts are so powerful, because they help you save hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in taxes, depending on how much money you can get into these accounts. And so I want you to try to get as much as you possibly can into these accounts because we have options when it comes to withdrawing on these early later on down the line. So the Roth IRA is a phenomenal account. Now, one thing to note when it comes to these retirement accounts like a Roth IRA is that you cannot pull the money out until age 59 and a half, except for your contributions. So you can pull your contributions out at any time, but after the age of 59 and a half is when you can pull out the growth of your money. And so that's what the majority is going to be. And so when it comes to retirement accounts, you just need to note that because if you plan on retiring early, there are some other accounts that we can talk about too. The last one is to go back to your 401k. So your 401k is a wonderful account, especially if you're a high earner. This is a great account for folks who want to get a tax break in this specific given year. So, for example, let's say you made a lot of money in this given year and you needed to get some tax breaks in that specific year. Well, the 401k is absolutely fantastic for that because you can get $24,500 this year into your 401k. And so that is going to help reduce your overall tax liability by that amount. But, and here's the big but, is that it grows, but when you pull the money out, then you get taxed when you pull the money out. Uncle Sam always wants his money. He's going to get it some way or another. And so you want to make sure that when you are pulling that money out, you understand that you will be taxed on that. Now, the 401k also has something called RMDs. These are required minimum distributions. And at some point in time down the line, right now it's at age 73, Uncle Sam says, you got to start pulling money out of this account so I can actually get my tax dollars. And so RMDs in a 401k are ways that they have you pull this money out so that you start to pay taxes and you're required to pull this money out. Now, it's later on down the line, but it is something that you need to know is part of this account because it is a big tax strategy overall. Now, the last one we'll talk about is a brokerage account. So if you plan on retiring early, if your goal is to retire before age 55, then a brokerage account is a great account to have on hand to help bridge you until you get to retirement age where you can pull from the Roth IRA or the 401k and be able to have that full flexibility. And so let's say, for example, you want to retire at age 52. Well, you want to make sure you have enough to get from age 52 to age 59 and a half. Now, there are some things like the rule of 55 that we can do to pull money out of 401ks early or other retirement accounts early. But we want to make sure that we're looking at this in a way that helps us plan this out if you want to retire early. So any of my early retirees, looking at a taxable brokerage account is also very helpful. And there's a lot of tax benefits to a taxable brokerage account. This is just a regular old brokerage account that you can open anywhere. That is traditionally something that most people think, oh, I got to pay a lot of the money in taxes on this. Well, you really don't. And if you look at long-term capital gains tax, it's significantly less than someone who pays traditional income tax. And so you want to make sure that we are looking at this as a very viable account. I think a lot of people write off the taxable brokerage account and don't realize how powerful it actually is. It's one of the best accounts out there and should be considered by every single person listening to this episode. All right, we're going to jump to the break, and then we're going to talk about how to choose your investments. Now, when it comes to your first $10,000, I want you to make sure that you are making the right decisions when it comes to your investment choices. And you need to make sure that you are doing your research. If you don't know how to do your research, we have multiple episodes talking about how to research funds, index funds, ETFs, stocks, all those different types of things. Now, on the next episode, I want to make sure that you're following this podcast, because on the next episode, we're actually going to be talking through exactly how to build out your portfolio properly. And so I want you to make sure that you are following or subscribe to this podcast to make sure that you don't miss that episode, because it is going to be really, really important that you understand how the investment portfolio is built and how to build that out. And so in that episode, we're going to be talking through what I call the portfolio pyramid. Now, the portfolio pyramid is a way to kind of build out your nest egg and figure out exactly where your portfolio needs to be. But if you are under $100,000 invested, I want you to first build out the foundation of your portfolio. And so since we are trying to invest our first $10,000, you need to be invested really in very safe assets. What does that mean? Index funds and ETFs are a great option. Target date retirement funds are a great option. I like target date index funds, or the option that I would look at. That's a great way if you really don't know what you're doing. It puts together a portfolio for you and it adjusts over time to your exact age. And so this is something that you can look deeper into, but choosing your investments is a very important part of this process. And so once you think through, well, how am I going to invest? I am a big proponent personally of index funds and ETFs. And I think building out a portfolio of index funds and ETFs, especially as part of your foundation before you have your first $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 invested, is imperative for most people. Now, step 5 is you want to make sure that you are picking out your brokerage account. There's tons of great brokerages out there now. A lot of them have some great options. So some of my favorites are Vanguard and Fidelity. Those are two great places to start investing your dollars. Charles Schwab is another great place to look, but there's some great brokerages out there. If you're opening an IRA or you're opening a Roth IRA, that are now doing 1% matches. And so if you find some of those and they make sense for your overall portfolio, you can absolutely utilize some of those brokerages and take advantage of those 1% matches, because a 1% match can dramatically change your portfolio long term, especially if you do this for a long period of time and you're getting a lot of dollars invested. And so I want you to make sure that you are choosing the right brokerage for you. You want to make sure that they have great index fund or ETF options. Most of them do. You can still get Vanguard ETFs inside most brokerages. And so that's a fantastic option. They make sure they have no account minimums, because that's a big deal for a lot of folks. And they have solid platforms. Don't just choose some random brokerage that you've never heard of before. Make sure it is a solid company that's been around a long time. If you don't know who to choose, Vanguard and Fidelity are two great ones to get started with.